Cool. All right. Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Lemony Llama. Today I'm going to be showing you a complete guide for the Gladiator NXT EVO Premium by VKB. Most of the basic information in this video is going to work with other HOTAS/HOSAS setups as well, but this is mostly tailored to the EVOs. This guide does not have rudder pedals due to the average player not purchasing them with dual sticks, but it shouldn't be too difficult to add them yourself with all the information given. Again, this is only going to cover the dual sticks portion in the video. Feel free to change any settings that you want or key bindings or controls. This is just a beginning point for people who are starting with a blank slate. I know for a person like myself, I didn't get an XML file from anybody and I did it all on my own, and it probably took me like a week or two to get everything dialed into the way that I like it. So that's what this video is for. It's for everybody else. First of all, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and download the XML file located in the forum. When downloading the XML file, please put that file somewhere on your computer for future reference. If you look at the Star Citizen launcher, after every single update in the patch notes section, the devs actually suggest that you delete the user folder as well as the shaders folder. If you do this, it will delete your controls folder. So you're going to have to do the next process all over again, as well as all of the things that don't actually carry over in the XML folder. After the XML file has been downloaded, go ahead and click on the settings in your Star Citizen launcher to figure out where your Star Citizen is installed. Click on settings and go to library folder. As you can see, mine is installed to the C drive. So what we're going to do is open up my C drive, and then we're going to find the Star Citizen folder, click on the Star Citizen folder again, go to Live, go to the User folder, Client 0, Controls, Mappings, and then as you can see, I have a few XML files in here. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be using the Public Use Controls XML file. Go ahead and paste that into this folder. After your XML file has been placed in your mappings folder, go ahead and start your game. When your game is started, I'm going to go ahead and show you all of the pathings to enable your actual sticks in game, as well as a few other control settings to make sure that it's a good starting point for you to get everything all dialed in. I probably should have loaded this beforehand, but here we are. Cool. Now that we're in game, we're going to go ahead and follow this pathing right here. At the main menu screen, look at the bottom left of your screen and go to Options. We're going to click on Key Bindings. We're going to go in the bottom right again. We're going to click that twice to go to Joystick/HOTAS. Bottom left, Advanced Controls Customization. On the bottom right, we're going to click on Control Profiles. And then in this area right here, you should see the Public Use Controls, which is the XML file that you just put into your mappings folder. We're going to go ahead and click on that. It'll pop up with this little HUD here. Next to the joysticks, we're going to go ahead and click Joystick 1. And then on the second joystick, we're going to click Joystick 2. We're going to go ahead and hit the Load button. And now, all of your joysticks and all of their buttons should be bound to everything in the game, if it is bound. As we can see right here in Vehicles and Scanning, you can see button 1 is Input 2, and then you can see button 11 doesn't have inputs next to it. Due to having two of the same joystick, even though one is a left-handed joystick and one is a right-handed joystick, they all have the same buttons, right? So we need to determine which one is bound to our left side and which one is bound to our right side. So is button 1 input 2 bound to the left stick, or is button 1 input 2 bound to the right stick? So for this premise, I'm just going to go into the flight docking area. I'm going to click a random button on my left joystick, like this one. And as you can see, my left joystick is actually joystick number 1. If I bind another button to my right joystick, as you can see, it puts button 29, input 2, which means that my right joystick is the second joystick. This is helpful information to know for the next part of this, where we're going to go up into the controls setting. And this is where all of our inversion settings are, right? So now that we know that my left stick is joystick 1 and my right stick is joystick 2, we can go into Arena Commander. We can go into single player, we'll go into free flight, and then we'll just go ahead and launch the game. Doesn't really matter what ship we're in here. So as of right now, I went ahead and reset my settings, right? So if I push forward, it moves me back. And if I push back on my left joystick, it moves me forward, right? So what I want to do is make sure that my left joystick, when I push forward, it moves me forward, and when I pull back, it's moving me back. So we're going to go into the control settings. We're going to click escape, go to options, controls. And then on this side, or on the bottom right, we're going to click twice to where we see HOTAS 1. Because remember, my left stick is my first stick and my right stick is my second stick. So we need to know which one is which when doing these inversion settings, so we're not inverting the incorrect stick. So left stick is HOTAS 1. We're going to go into the inversion settings. We're going to go into flight movement, and forward and back is default set to no. What we want to do is invert that to say yes. So now when I push forward on my left joystick, my ship moves forward, and when I pull back on my joystick, it moves me backwards. If you want your ship to act how it does in like a real life aircraft, your settings are going to be inverted, right? So on my right stick, if I pull my right stick back, my nose is going to go up. And if I push my right joystick forward, my nose is going to go down. Kind of like an aircraft would in real life, right? In my opinion, that doesn't really make any sense. So I have it set to where the nose of my ship moves in the same direction as my joystick, right? So I'm moving my joystick clockwise right now, and my nose is doing the exact same thing. If you want your joystick to do that, we're going to go back, hit escape, go to options. We're going to go into controls. Bottom right, we'll go into HOTAS number 2 because my right stick is the second HOTAS. Go into inversion settings, flight movement, and then pitch. We're going to go ahead and invert pitch. So now when I move my joystick forward, my nose goes up, and whenever I move my joystick back, it goes down. I think that this is more comfortable, and I think it makes more sense in a space simulator, but to each their own. All right, if you're wondering what is bound to what, go ahead and download the .psd files in the forum, right? And what we're going to do is, if you have Photoshop, go ahead and open them there. If you don't, go ahead and go to photopea.com and then go ahead and open these files. There should be 3 files there: dual stick Photoshop Live, which is going to be for air, or any ship rather, dual stick ground controls, and then dual stick turret controls. for the premise of this video, I'm just going to open up all three. And then now, as you can see with the dual stick Photoshop Live, these are going to be all of the ship controls. Everything in here can be changed however you see fit. I don't actually know how to open up the list of stuff. There it is. So everything in here can be changed and moved around accordingly. So on the left side, we can find this little arrow. If I want to change my shields button, I know that shields are bound to right here. I can move this wherever I like, or I can change it by just going on the left side, hitting T, and then typing in, I don't know, anything that you want, right? So now you know that everything that you put, or everything in the XML file is bound to here, and then you won't have to go looking for it. As well as any ground vehicles, if you're using a ballista or something like that, you know exactly what buttons are for what. And as well as the turrets. The turrets are pretty simple, but like exit turret is bound to a button, the speed limiter, stagger fire, ESP, gyro, all of that stuff is bound. So instead of you having to fight and look at all of these options and key bindings and trying to find out what is bound to what, go to photopea.com, open up the PSD files, and then you should see where everything is bound to. If something isn't bound, as I previously stated in the beginning of the video, go ahead and bind it to whatever you like. This is just a template for whatever works for you and whatever I think makes sense for me, so it's completely subjective to myself. Another thing I want to touch back on is for the sensitivity curves. In your controls, you can go to, I'm going to go to HOTAS 2 because my right stick is HOTAS 2. The joystick sensitivity curves that I like to use for my pitch and yaw are 1.3, and then for my roll 2.0. And that just is what I feel is more comfortable for myself. Obviously, when you incorporate the XML file, none of these sensitivities or none of these controls are going to move over with that. So just as a good starting point, I would recommend 1.3 for pitch and yaw and 2.0 for roll. Unless you're a 1.0 kind of guy. If you just want it to be exactly 1.0, go ahead and stick with that. But I'd recommend this. Anyway, that kind of sums up this video. If you have any questions or anything like that, don't be afraid to DM me on Discord or just post a question in the forum. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions in regards to anything. But yep, this is the setup video for the VKB EVOs by VKB. So yeah, Star Empire.